Good evening, and a very cordial welcome to the annual meeting 2023.
Here at WEF, I believe we're discussing, there's a lot of discussion about what the new world order will be.
Davos has become the de facto platform for governments, for corporates, for philanthropists.
The world has been undergoing tremendous changes. What does it need to master the future, to construct and to shape the future?
Take today decisions that will eventually be not popular, but it will be essential to be able to shape the public opinion itself.
Important for policies really to change the rules of the game, no?
We, a select group of human beings, because of whatever touched us at some point in our lives, are able to sit in a room and come together.
Dear friends, scientifically, this is not a climate crisis. We are now facing something deeper, mass extinction.
The next decades will see the greatest industrial transformation of our time.
So we have countries that are respecting the rules, and we have countries that are respecting their national interests going beyond the rules. And that is what is happening, and we have to take into consideration the world order.
We would like to know the opportunities in China and how we can work together with China to tackle the collective challenges that the world is facing.
There's a huge impetus now for a national digital infrastructure.
If 1 billion people stop eating meat, I tell you it has a big impact.
The problem we have is the open press system and basically all the platforms.
All of us are simply devouring the planet.
Spread waves start to have their brainwave data collected, the insights that we can gain through pattern recognition will exponentially increase and pretty quickly.
We will have proteins not coming from meat in the future. They will probably taste even better. So why are we trying to mimic meat if we can have a better taste?
It's 5 minutes walk from all of your needs. Each module is 800 meters wide, and each module will take 80,000 people.
Virtually no traffic. You can go to different places very efficiently without using cars. There are no cars.
I think everything you can do in walking distance, no? And by doing that, no, people don't buy a car, and it's not felt like actually they would like to have a car and they are not allowed to have it, but they simply don't need it.
The slowing economy, the energy crisis,
and the rain bombs and sucking the moisture out of the land and creating the droughts and melting the ice and raising the sea level and causing these waves.
People are still interested and eager and committed to appreciating that this pandemic is not over.
Digitization in healthcare is, I think, one of the great game changers. You know, we should be helping countries to develop a national digital infrastructure, which they will need with these new vaccines.
You could see some countries where you have scientific debate and political debate, and social media, if you have those three things, the vaccine rate very, very low.
The vaccine not only protects individuals from transmission.
If you believe that COVID existed or not. All of these were constantly on our way. And you know, I'm a businessman, I'm a scientist.
One of the most important things in a society is the flow of information and getting truth to the right people.
Deprive platforms that spread disinformation of oxygen. Stop advertising. Pull your promotion money. Make sure that they understand that they have a consequential impact on society.
Our message was clear. We have the rules which have to be complied with, and otherwise there will be sanctions.
Collaboration between the private sector and the government, especially the FBI, has, I think, made significant strides. Pretty much every technology we could talk about today, we see both great opportunity, but great dangers.
One of the village partners, for example, is Interpol. So we work together already with the necessary instances to make sure that the system is as safe as it can be.
Memory signals that are preconscious and subconscious, and this is part of why it's been used, for example, by governments to interrogate criminals. Do you recognize this potential co-conspirator? Do you recognize, this murder weapon? Those preconscious signals, like what we call the P300 wave or the N400 wave, these are before you even consciously process information, so you could prime it with a number and then see if a person recognizes it. And you can do it without them realizing that that's what you're doing.
In my view, are better than 50-50, that there will be a COVID scale problem within the next 15 years.
Several parts of our planet would be uninhabitable, and for many, it will mean a death sentence.
If we continue with our greenhouse gas emissions, then by 2070, as many as 3 billion people will live in uninhabitable zones.
By 600,000 Hiroshima-class atomic bombs exploding every single day on the Earth. That's what's boiling the oceans.
Government only buys with companies who commit to Paris, who commit to science-based targets. I think that's a smart policy. So that policy tries to leverage also the action from companies. And
those who are just bystanders, observers, and even go into the negative, critical, and confrontational attitude.
Climate refugees predicted to reach 1 billion in this century. Look at the xenophobia and political authoritarian trends that have come from just a few million refugees. What about 1 billion?
To transition, to take the jobs and opportunities of the future. I do think that that requires a different view of the state, because what we want is an active state.
I would challenge Europe to lead the way in using their power to accelerate the green transition in the developing world.
How does the world want to achieve climate neutrality if so far it hasn't even stopped the burning of entire cities in Ukraine?
The time is high to make it happen faster for Ukraine.
Weapons, they are the way to peace.
The geopolitical instability makes a catastrophic cyber event likely in the next 2 years.
What does it need to master the future, to construct and to shape the future?